Yeah.
Right.
I hope so. We proved it.
That pushed off.
This.
No, we're okay.
Erev Tov, everyone. The Parsha tells us that Yosef has a dream. Chalom Yosef, Chalom Vayaged le'echav. The first dream he tells to his brothers. The dream is V'nei anachnu me'almim alumim b'sol chasodeh. We are gathering sheaves together in the field, and everybody puts their gatherings into one pile. So there's 11 different piles. V'nei komo alumosi. My pile, my gathering of sheaves suddenly arises, and your sheaves bows to mine. That's the first dream. The brothers interpret the dream immediately. That Yosef has a dream that they will all bow to him. He will be the dominant brother in the family, and they will all bow to him. And they hated him for it. They felt that he had no right to think of himself as being that brother. And they did not like the fact that he told them the dream. They hated him al chalamosov al dvorov. That he had the dream and that he was brazen enough to tell them the dream. Then the Torah continues. He has another dream. This one he tells not only to his brothers, he tells it to his father as well. Tells it to Yaakov Avinu. Heaven vows to him. The sun and the moon and 11 stars all bow to him. So Vayosifu snow. So and now they just added fuel to the fire. They hated him even more. Again, because he had such a dream and because of the fact that he told it to them. Yaakov here, because he's told of the dream, so his father chastised him, was angry at it. And he also interprets the dream immediately. Avo novo ani v'imcha v'achecha l'shtach v'oslocho arza. You think that your mother and I and the brothers are coming to bow down to you? Then it says, Eliv Shomar Esadover. But Yaakov felt that there was worth in the dream. Because I'll point out that ain't Tevin below Bor, ain't Bor below Tevin. You can't get 100% pure grain. There has to be a little straw mixed in. So dreams also, even when they're valid dreams, there's an element that's not going to happen. But nevertheless, Yaakov felt that the dream had value. So the Mefarshim all discuss here what was the essence of the dreams. So the first dream is a dream of wealth and power, of grain in the field, so to speak, of Gashmias. It's a dream of physical accomplishment. Well, we all know in life that in spite of all efforts to the contrary of well-meaning people and governments, results are never equal. Some people have more, some people have less. Some people are successful and wealthy. Other people are unsuccessful and pretty much driven to poverty. The Torah says, "Kilo yechdal evyon b'kerev haaretz." This unequal distribution of material goods, it's a fact of life, over which there's almost no way that we can guarantee equal results. Perhaps we can try to give equal opportunity, but never equal results. So that's the first dream. The dream is I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to be powerful. I'm going to be influential. And you're not going to make it the way I make it. Now, that happens in every family. None of the children are equal in their results. Some have good fortune and some have less good fortune. So the brothers hated him for that, because people are frustrated by the inequality of life. But Yaakov Avinu is not a partner to this dream. He's not involved at all. Because again, that is simply the way of life. Yaakov Avinu himself lived by that principle. Esau was not his equal. You got the brachas, you got the bechorah. He doesn't let Lavan cheat him out of his wealth. But the second dream is not about wealth and power. Second dream is about heaven. It's about spiritual matters. And there Yaakov is involved. So the brothers perhaps were angry that Yosef was going to be more powerful than they were. But they were ever more angry that he was going to be Yosef HaTzadik and they weren't. That he would have that title. And that in matters where spiritually they were found wanting. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. Yosef overwhelms them. And Yaakov in his final blessings to Yosef points that out. and that they could not deal with. That drove them over the line. And Yaakov was aware that the spiritual potential of Yosef was greater, that somehow he would rise above them. And therefore, V'yoviv shomar es hadovar. He was careful to remember the dream. He thought that it had validity. And many times in life, people are jealous, not necessarily of the physical accomplishments of others, but of their spiritual accomplishments. We say every day the chapter in Tehillim in the morning. So it lists Hashem Zokek Fufim. He raises up those who are bent down. He's Pokeach Ivrim. He gives sight to the sightless, etc. In the middle it says Hashem Oev Tzadikim. The Lord loves Tzadikim. That's a godly attribute. Because human beings don't love tzaddikim. Tzaddikim make us nervous. We don't like to see people who, so to speak, are holier than we are. We feel that's a criticism of ourselves. And there's a famous quip, rabbis in Eastern Europe used to, their signature when they sign things. So they said, Mimeni hakoton. For me, hakoton, who was such a small person, and then they would sign their name. And it said that once one of the great rabbis received a letter from someone who was not such a great person, and the person signed Mimeni hakoton. For me, who said, so he said, look who thinks he's a kohen. We resent that. And because we resent that, so therefore that remains a godly attribute. Hashem oev tzaddikim. The Lord loves tzaddikim. People don't. People look to find their defects. People look to find why they should not be considered tzaddikim. So that's what Yosef was against. So one dream had to do with his temporal, physical, financial success. Okay, so that's vayikanu bo'echav. That you're jealous. But that alone would not have driven them over the line. What drove them over the line was when he said, the sun and the moon and the stars, heaven bows down to me. That's a spiritual success. That I found more bitter than the physical success. But Yaakov saw in that the greatness of Yosef. That's why it says, V'yoviv shamar es hadavor. Rabbi Chananya ben Akash, Omer Rotz HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'zakas Yisrael, L'filcha Hirba Lahem Torah Mitzvos, and Aaron Aleich Leitz Man Tzidko,